how does we want to know how to avoid another 30-0 result, and if there's a way to do that via the Constitution.
So yes, I think there is a way to do it. And I think the Prime Minister has a real opportunity to do something interesting here, rather than this idea of offering the opposition two Senate seats. And when you offer them 2 Senate seats, they still don't have representation in the lower house.
Yes.
And the Constitutional Reform Commission has suggested this idea of going to the party that got the
national representatives, right?
No, they suggested going to the party that got the second highest votes, giving them 2 seats in the Senate to provide a form of representation. I think that is a little. I think we can do better than that. And I've critiqued the Commission's report elsewhere. So I think what they can actually do is introduce the idea of national MPs, which are proportionally elected. So every party.
I thought this was in the report.
I don't
need to go back and read it.
I need to go back. I don't think they went this far because
they went that far.
I think they mentioned it, and then I think they weren't. There was some dismissal of it, because that's the problem with that report. They mentioned a lot of things that were suggested, and they were like, "Oh, actually, we don't want to do it." So I think this idea of national MPs, you get a few of them. We can decide the number, 10, 5, whatever. And therefore, every party would be able to get a couple. So there will never be a situation where there's no opposition unless you are statistically so poor that you don't get any votes. At that point, therefore, you deserve to not have any seats. But given, for example, where the Democratic Labour Party is, and the fact they got 30,000 votes, suppose you had 10, and the Barbados Party basically got 70,000, so that's 70%, 30%. They would have 3 national MPs. So they would automatically get 3 seats in the lower house. So there will be no tinkering with offering anybody anything, because they would get 3 seats. There's an opposition leader. He selects the 2 senators, or she, and then they can fulfill all of the other constitutional roles without this idea of tinkering with the Constitution every time that there's a 30-0. And that having national MPs also brings a kind of new dispensation to our politics, because it's the people that aren't focused on constituencies, and in Parliament they can make bigger and broader
and these are people that would appear on the ballot sheets.
So yes, exactly, because you don't want the surprises, because you don't want a party to be hiding.
Right,
correct.
They have to choose who goes on.
Correct. So it would be a list system. So we would see the list of your potential. Say if you had 10, suppose it was 10, you would have to list in order the 10 people that potentially could be national MPs, all parties contending, just in case you get enough votes. And it would be 1, 2, 3, and the order. And if you were going to get 2 or 3, and you got 2, we would just look at the list, and it would be John Brown, Jane Doe. Okay, these are the 2 that are going through on your side. And if you would just go down the list.
So hold on a second. So then, just to understand, because our system now is first past the post.
Correct.
So then you're talking about switching that system?
No, I wouldn't switch it.
Okay, so this is something outside of first past the post.
I would keep first past the post, because, again, you have to realize the political nature of things. A lot of people are not going to let go of first past.
Right, they're not going to let go. That's what I was about to say.
And I have come to realize there's value in first past the post because of what I see as a growing fringe element in Barbadian politics, which often gets into Parliament through proportional representation. So they will never be able to sometimes win big seats. But if you get enough of these small parties that may be on the fringe or on the margins of mainstream, they could end up in Parliament pushing debate into a particular direction. Yeah. We've seen it in Germany. We've seen it in a lot of Western European countries because they have proportional representation. So my view is to have a mix where you have a couple national MPs, and to be clear, we know who those national MPs will be, because you have to publish that list. That list has to be published before, so that you can't come and surprise me you win, and then all of a sudden, you know, I don't want to call names here, but certain
Chris Sinclair?
no, certain folks who have other media shows end up as a national MP because, you know, they were promoting your thing on marching with you every Saturday in Bridgetown. So you know, we still have to be clear that we have to protect the democracy.
Yes.
Because you do not want persons with ultra right or even those kind of far right views being promoted,
coming into the
national,
and then pushing national debates in that direction, and you end up swinging the view of a whole country because enough people are not politically, intellectually enough to understand what it is that your overall goal is, but like the kind of populist nonsense that you're putting forward, and then it derails the national conversation in a way that isn't beneficial to the overall direction of the country.
Look at Nigel Farage in the UK, potentially
becoming prime minister, like, with the way that Reform has
exactly, and Reform is basically a far right party.
It is
pretending
a far right party,
not to be, you know. But that if you want to start to dig down on their immigration policies, their education, you're just like, this is scary.
Everything
that these people,
very, very super far right.
These people have the potential. So you still have to be mindful of what you're trying to when you're suggesting reforms. But I think this idea of national MPs could be a good way to ensure that we don't have 30 zeros. Because the reality is the Democratic Labour Party still got some votes. There's 30,000 people still showed up and voted for them. So you can't just, you know,
discount
those. It doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You can't discount those 30,000 people, and those 30,000 people should have a voice. They should have someone to say, I want somebody to speak on my behalf. And I think this would be a good way of doing it outside of the kind of I think maternalistic way that the Prime Minister is trying to do it. I'm offering the other side two seats, and I don't like that approach. I do not like that approach.
I'm so glad that you went back there, because it's like, I think, again, love me, I'm Motley down, but I think it's outside of her power to be able to even offer those seats. That power rests with the president, not with the Prime Minister, because you cannot dictate the makeup of the upper house. So it's not for you. The seats are not yours to offer in the first place. So I don't even understand how this is a conversation. Because last time the seats belonged to the president and the president chose the two people. How is me and Motley coming back again after your next 30 and pretending as though the power is yours to offer?
Correct.
That rests with the president.
And I like, because I think the Prime Minister is hedging that if they say yes, she's going to amend the Constitution because she has the power. She has the power to amend the Constitution flat out. So she will amend the Constitution to provide for that formula of the second largest party getting into the. But I think the better amendment would actually be a way to introduce. We probably can't do it now.
We can't do it now.
But the better amendment going forward would be to have these national MPs, and I think that would stop the future 30 zeros.
Any 30 zeros. I think that I agree with the proponents who argue about the tinkering in the Constitution, because that tinkering was why I think the Costiwale bill for him becoming the senator, that's where that failed.
Correct.
Because they said there's too much tinkering. We need the constitutional reform, which is what then led to the Republic thing, where you're supposed to have the Republican Constitution. So after you have that Constitution of the Republic, then you could tinker with it to allow for what happens.
But we're not. This is what really annoys even the people who like the Prime Minister, because there are these opportunities for comprehensive reform. And you're always just trying to take cheap political shots.
Exactly.
And keep missing the mark. And it's like, just do the things the people want you to do. You got 30-0 3 times. I mean, at this point, what would it take for the Prime Minister to realize Barbadians have reposed confidence in her to reform the system? If they didn't want it, they would have given the Democratic Labour Party some seats. Let's be realistic. They would have gone up and said, you know what? Not you, man. Not this time. They're saying, okay, we gave you another chance. And maybe the Barbados Labour Party and the Prime Minister needs to take the same lesson that the Democratic Labour Party is taking. We just give another chance. Because they're saying, all right, you weren't listening neither.
All right.
But you got one more chance and them got one more chance. Because if two of them get one of acts together, we can show you something. I think that's where the public is at. So I don't think the Prime Minister get a little bit humble too to recognize she got a warning. That 30-0 in a reward.
was not
That's the same warning on both sides of the
People,
equation.
right? A 30-0 was not strong. You realize how that sounds, right?
I mean, but no, look at the voter turnout. Where you have 60% of the voters not
She
turning out.
knows.
So
She
it's
knows.
like she knows that. She knows that it's not a strong. Yes, it was enough to get you over the line. Yes, it's enough for people not to come and make comments like, although they still with minority government, if the voter thing was
the
like
system
30 or
is
20.
what it said.
It is what it
10
is,
people
yeah.
turn out to vote and you get 8, you win.
You win.
If you
That's
got to
it.
stand home,
Bust
they
up.
stand home. That's just the nature of first past the post. That's why I think this proportional overlay to have a couple, and I don't want to bloat the system either.
Right.
So I'm mindful. You only want a few. You just need enough so that 30-0 scenarios can.
5, an odd number.
Yeah, yeah, and that would always give at least 2 or 5 would be a good number actually. That will always give a few in there, those people don't have to worry about constituencies. They can speak to bigger issues. They can often rise above the fray because they're not in there trying to fight up for their constituencies. And in some ways, they don't even have to bother about the whims and fancies of a prime minister because you really can't fire them. You can't move it. When them on the list, they had their time. If they do a term, and they go on with their business. So actually, it could break a really interesting dynamic into our political system
politics.
and our international politics, because for the first time, you have people that actually may be like, even if I get through on the party list, but I already got, I could say what I want because what are you gonna do? Remove me from my constituency?
No.
I just sit in here as a national MP. So it might be an interesting dynamic. I think it's something that we need to discuss instead of always trying to do these cheap political shots, like offering to. No, I think that, and if this last election showed anything, our system is maturing. Again, the reaction to the manifesto, I think that should be a signal to Barbadian voters. Be tired of the of the tricks and the political shots and I got some in my bag. I got an envelope. Something fall off a truck. I know some with you. It's like, really? Just tell me what the issues are.
What the issues are, like what are the real topics? What are the real
what you want to do?
Need to focus on.
What my tax gonna look
exactly.
like?
A lot of middle class voters do believe like they're being
left out.
Yeah. They're really being undercut by the government for the last administration. So then they want to hear no.
For all the administration. The previous, the LP one, this current one, middle class people feel squeezed for the last 20 years, really.
So they feel as though
at least
20 years. That
doesn't represent them. So they want to hear what's going forward for 2026. And then it's like, you could very well be losing them too.
Yeah.
And that's a key part.
And where will they go?
Where will they go? Yeah.